Hey everyone, my name is Gareth. I've worn many hats at AppLovin. I started running M&A and deployed over $3 billion of capital for the business. Then I moved over when we launched our e-commerce product. I was a founding team member of the go-to-market team and took it from 0 to 1. I've also been hands-on keys in client accounts, scaling them to $1 million a month of spend. And more recently, I moved over to help our agency partners and their brands grow their businesses on Axon. So really quickly, who's got this mandate before from their CEO? Right, super easy. Would you like me to colonize Mars too, right? But no, this is the reality of what marketing leaders live in, right? Every single dollar you spend is judged on incremental revenue, whether or not you're reaching new audiences, and then most importantly, like channel diversification. So a brand of ours, Honeylove, had the exact same mandate from their CEO. And their performance on Axon was so good that they had to actually run 2 separate geo holdouts to confirm it. And so over the course of 5 months and multiple 7 figures of spend later, the results speak for themselves. So they measured a 2.35x iROAS twice. So over the next 15 or so minutes, I'm going to take you through how Honeylove was able to unlock a massive attention economy inside mobile games, and then take advantage of the scale, the profitability, and most importantly, the incrementality of our channel. And for those that don't know Honeylove, it's one of the fastest growing intimate brands in the United States. So super quickly, AppLovin, Axon, they're interchangeable more or less, but Axon is to AppLovin as Google is to Meta. Or sorry, Google is to Alphabet. We are one of the largest companies in the world, one of the largest advertising companies certainly, a little bit bigger than Uber as of May 1st. And last year we did north of $5 billion of revenue. For the finance nerds in the room, we also operate at over 80% EBITDA margins, and most of that converts to cash flow. So it's like an incredible economic machine. Now, the important thing to understand, though, is that revenue that we report is actually net, like our take rate. Sorry, it's net revenue. There's many, many billions of ad spend on top of that. In fact, there's more ad spend on Axon than Snap, Reddit, and Pinterest combined. Although we love you guys and we're all friendly competitors, you should test other channels. But the point being, there's a ton of scale here. And so the other important understanding thing is that the spend on our platform is outcomes based. So we operate as a full funnel channel. We're able to target a consumer across all levels of the funnel, so drive awareness, consideration, and conversion. But most importantly is that we're pricing impression to revenue, meaning that we would not be driving billions of dollars of spend if it was not economically rational for advertisers to be spending with us. Said another way, if they were not making money, they would not be spending, period. Now, where do our ads actually show up? They show up in casual, free-to-play mobile games. So, quick show of hands, who ever plays like Solitaire, Sudoku, Candy Crush, Wordle, anything like that on their phones? Okay, all right. If you guys don't, you got to have more fun. But the reality is that this is actually one of the largest pools of consumer attention that exists today. So globally, we see over 1 billion people every single day. In the US, it's between 150 to 160 million people. For reference, Sensor Tower, it's a popular app data source. They would report that audience size as roughly 2 times larger than TikTok in the US, and on par with Instagram and Facebook. So it is gigantic. And now historically, this inventory, it's, you know, when you look around, you don't really see it as easily. But next time you're on the subway or you're at an airport or you're at a mall, just like be nosy and look at what people are doing on their phones. It's one of 3 things. It's social, so think like Instagram, TikTok. It's what I consider life admin, so email, Slack, SMS, that kind of thing. Or it's mobile gaming. And Axon is that third space of consumer attention. Now, historically, it's been really difficult for brands to actually access it effectively. So you have, if you were an app-based business, it was very easy to run inside this inventory and see outcomes. But if you were, a brand driving web conversions, the quality wasn't that great, the performance was hit or miss. Axon changes that, and so it's made it really easy for brands like Honeylove, as well as all the other brands that have been running on us, to not just buy here, but also find performance and scale that is as good as their largest acquisition channels, namely Meta. So you might be wondering who is in this audience. Well, look, statistically at 150 million Americans every single day, it is very generic. That said, it does skew slightly female and then slightly kind of middle age. So think like 25, like older than 25, younger than 55. That tends to be our audience skew. And most importantly, these are adults. Okay, they have spending power. they are often the head of household decision makers, and they are the ones that have like high disposable income. So 70% of these people actually are the primary decision maker in their household. So a brand like Honeylove, they had this misconception that mobile gamers were like teenage boys playing Fortnite and Call of Duty on their phones. They didn't realize it was actually their moms playing Gardenscapes. And she plays every single day. All right, so Gardenscapes is her daily escape. She plays for an hour every day. Around 70% of mobile gamers will play daily, and virtually all of them will play at least once per week. So think of this as being able to meet your consumer where they're spending their leisure time. So through Axon, Honeylove was able to get in front of tens of millions of new customers in the US where they were just hanging out, playing their favorite game. So there's a lot of stats on the screen, and you can read them while I go through this, but most important to understand is that mobile gaming is an active form of media consumption, and I think it's hard to understand unless you're actually a mobile gamer yourself, but the user is participating in the media. So they are focused on the screen, they are staring at the content, they are not passively consuming it like they would on social. So there's no doom scrolling, there's no like dual screening when you consume TV. It's a very engaged inventory. And then at the same time, ad monetization inside this inventory, it's very transparent in terms of the exchange of value. So what I mean by that is the user knows they're going to play their favorite game every single day. Maybe it's like a solitaire game, and they know they're going to see ads. There are some users like, Candy Crush has been around for over a decade. They have been playing faithfully from day one. Every single day, they're on level like 15 million, and they won't spend a single penny. All right, 97% of mobile gamers will not spend money on an in-app transaction, but they will happily watch ads. And in fact, the majority of users will opt in to watching an ad in exchange for some kind of in-game reward or currency. So what do you have? You have an environment with a consumer where they're in a positive headspace, it's during their leisure time, and they're very focused on the screen, and they're also receptive to ad messaging. So what that creates is it creates an environment for advertising that actually is really good at influencing consumer behavior. And so the most important stat that I would say is that the one on the far left for you, or far right for you guys, 83% of people say that the ad they saw inside the mobile game directly influenced their purchase decision, and then 71% of people actually bought it the same day they saw the ad. So I want to show you an example, but again, the key takeaway is that this is a super high impact ad environment, which allows for our ad impact to be something that is, one, a forced view, meaning that unlike social, you don't have to worry about hook rate or thumb stop or making things interesting. Like they know they're going to see an ad, and in fact, they actually can't skip past that ad for some period of time. And on top of that, the average impression watch time is roughly 30 seconds long. So it's a very long ad. That's probably 10 times longer. So here's a quick walkthrough of a Honeylove ad. In this case, the user's opting in to watch it. And it begins with a 9:16 vertical video. So this is the same type of asset you're already running on social. But check this out. So this is the runtime, and we're going to speed it up a little bit just so you don't have to watch the whole thing. But it runs for 30 full seconds before the user actually gets the option to skip out. That's like 30 seconds of airtime for you to not just like introduce your brand, but then also sell them. Followed by the vertical video is this interactive page. Think of it as like a landing page ad unit that the user lands on after the video. And then after that is a dynamic product ad that's generated from a feed or from your Shopify pixel. Now, if the user is interested in anything that they saw, they can click on it and it takes them straight to honeylove.com to browse and check out. That is, so in addition to a really huge audience, the impact of the ad unit is what makes our platform so performant for brands like Honeylove and many others. So now I'm going to spend the next bit of time just going through quickly, like if you're interested in this and you want to take advantage of it, what are the must-haves or the quick takes on driving value here? So to start, unlike social, where brands tend to optimize towards short-form video, so like 12 seconds, 15 seconds, we go the opposite direction. Again, you have a captive user, they have to watch your ad, and they know they're going to see an ad, so just make really good, compelling ads. So what we see in our inventory is that roughly 80% of spend on top videos ends up being on videos that are 30 to 60 second long. So think, videos that have like problem, agitation, solution type story arcs with like a good offer copy and then some CTA at the end. That type of content works a lot better than very low context, face on, here's a product I'm just talking about in my bedroom and you have no idea who I am. So prioritize long form content. Two, testing is critical here. Like any other, or I should say like most of the other ad platforms that are video first, they're all asking you to bring more and more content. And what we see is that both content volume and content diversity drive scale, not the other way around. So advertisers that spend $1 million or so a month on our platform, they tend to bring 200 to 300 unique pieces of content every month. Advertisers that spend 30 million a month on the platform, they're bringing over 5,000. So it's a very content hungry machine. And then critical, if you're bringing anything over from social platforms, always, always, always make sure it's captioned really bright and clearly. Most users actually don't play games with sound on. And so if you're bringing, especially really good, compelling sales copy that's a voiceover, it basically dies if it doesn't have a caption. So the inventory I showed you was unique because every single impression has 3 different steps. That middle screen that appeared after the video, we call it an interactive page, and it actually drives over half the clicks to an advertiser's website. So it's something that you can't overlook. And so because a lot of our users, like they've already seen the video and the video's done a good job of like pulling them into the brand and making them interested, the interactive page is a great place for like mid to lower funnel tactics. So things like infographics where you can convey key benefits of the product. Comparisons also work really well if you're a skincare brand or a hair care brand. Things like before and afters are very effective in this inventory. If you're running a promo, this is a great place to make sure 100% of every single impression like sees that you're running a, buy 3, get 20% off. That was a promo they ran last year. Or you could also just do more brand messaging, right? Honeylove is comfortable. Now, on the media buying front, it's really easy to get started, but there's also levels to it, and you can make it as complicated as your business needs require. So Honeylove, when they first got started, it was a single campaign. It was a total ROAS optimized campaign, meaning every dollar is just trying to maximize total revenue. It doesn't matter whether it's a new customer, a new audience, and they just dumped all their product ads into a single campaign. But as they saw performance and as they grew their channel with us, they broke it out into something that meets both their audience needs as well as their product needs. So discovery is our most upper funnel campaign type. This is going to optimize towards net new visitors who have never been to your site before. So bringing in completely new audiences to your brand. Whereas something like prospecting, maybe they've been to your site before, but they haven't actually purchased. It'll optimize towards driving net new customers to your site. And then they also broke it out by product type to be able to optimize spend towards both a margin profile for each product as well as inventory levels set from finance. So again, it's super easy to get started, but there's also ways that, if we become like your second largest acquisition channel, you can customize your spend to your business needs. And now the last thing I'll say on this is the platforms do the really hard part, which is finding customers that are interested in your brand. But when we send traffic to your site, it's your job to make sure that it's actually relevant to them. Now, the thing about an unskippable ad inventory that's very long view, like ours, is that we will send a lot of colder traffic to your site. So they've seen your ad, they're interested in the product, but they may not be ready to buy. And so how do you actually address that point? Well, we see brands have a lot of success sending our traffic to, let's say, like long form sales pages, pre-sell pages, things like that. So when the user lands there, they can see a little bit more about what Honeylove's all about, what's technology in there. And then at the bottom of the page, if they're compelled to buy, they could choose to. Another really good strategy is maybe a user's warmer. They're familiar with Honeylove, but they haven't actually decided like what product they specifically want. You can send them to a collections page for them to browse. And then let's say you're running a sale on a specific product, sending them to the PDP directly also works really well, especially if you like promo copy in the video, promo copy in the end card, then yeah, they're probably interested in buying the bodysuit in this case. So just go straight to the PDP. That's everything. I did want to leave you with something that was like hopefully pretty useful. So what I'd recommend doing, if you want to learn more about creative strategy for the platform, you can scan the QR code. There's no like info capture or anything like that. It's just a PDF with a lot of like really useful techniques if you're interested in learning more. And then my colleague Gareth and I will be around floating out in the main room if you want to come chat with us.